Did we figure it out? Can you hear me? I guess you gotta wait 3 seconds and see if I buffer.
Yeah, I can hear you. Or are you asking the chat? Oh, there you go. Aquatics, that's better. Hopefully that got it. Much better. Mystery Snail Garden said too, so hopefully we're in the money now.
Right, right. I'll try to talk loud and clear so it's heard. Uh, the only other option, like right now, I switched to my hotspot from my cell phone. Hopefully that works better. Otherwise, I can only just reconnect to my lame Wi-Fi and give it a shot. Monster Fish Gal, thank you very much. Muppet round two. Mystery Snails, much better. Alright, I'm gonna pull up these here questions.
Cool.
Okay, Jordan, firstly, what I want you to do is introduce yourself. Tell us a little about you, your age, where you're from, how long you've been keeping fish, and then I'll
Okay.
start rolling with the questions and, of course, the questions that might come up in the chat.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. So, everybody, hi. My name is Jordan McReynolds. Live here in Lynn, Indiana, not too far away from Sean, just about 20 minutes or so. Um, Me and a couple of my buddies, well, one of my buddies mainly, Tyler Pegg, he's in chat too. We're in the process of starting our own little local fish store here in Lynn by the name of Something Fishy Aquatics. It'll be in the links in the description after the video once we get all that stuff set up. Right now, I pretty much just do a lot of live bear stuff, but I'm working on expanding to just about everything. Uh, you said age, 21. I've had fish since I was young, living still at mom and dad's. But back in November, we just bought our own home here, so I've started setting up my own stuff now, and it just started as a hobby and turned into an addiction, like I'm sure it did with most of you guys. So
Right. Uh, okay, that actually, you kind of answered one of the first questions that I had, which was how long have you been keeping cichlids or tropical fish?
yeah, so like I said,
So
mainly tropical stuff right now. But I've all the stuff that I've got set up behind me, I've had since right around the beginning of the year.
all right, so for our next question, what first piqued your interest in the hobby?
Um, yeah, I don't. So like I said, I had fish when I was a kid, and I don't really know like what got me started again here on my own at my own house, but like if I had to guess, I probably saw that something was on sale because I started out on this side. As you can see behind me, this 55-gallon tank here, that was where I started. That was my first tank in the new house. And I think when I bought that kit, I saw that it was on sale. Sorry, I'm trying to get my camera set even there, but it was on sale, so I was like, hey, that'd be cool. Just have a little tank set up and have us something to look at for the kids and everything. So it started there, and then it has spiraled into what you guys will see later and what's coming in the future. So
All right. Um, I'm kind of the same way. I've always had fish growing up in my house. My parents kept them and whatnot, and I'm by nature an outdoors person. I like to go fishing,
oh yeah, me
camping,
too.
so it just
Yep.
kind of went hand in hand together. Timothy Nelson, that's a new name for me. Thank you for stopping in, and I'm curious how you found us. All right. What is your favorite part about fish keeping?
I would say honestly, my favorite part is either it's a toss up. Enjoy setting up tanks and just putting your vision into reality. And my other favorite part is doing stuff like this, talking to people about fish and educating people about it, and just trying to show my passion for it and try to make it grow to other people. Like Tyler, for example, my business partner to be, he had a little bit of fish stuff before I really started talking to him about it, but I kind of helped inspire, get him into it, and now we're kind of both to the point where we want to progress it farther. But
Right.
I'd say that's my favorite part.
For me, it'd probably be like the rewarding benefit of it after you've started keeping fish, and without even trying, you end up getting babies,
Yeah,
and seeing that happen and seeing the reaction of your fish. Now, I know you said you don't keep large cichlids yet,
not
but
yet, not
if
yet.
you
It's in the works.
if you have ever been around Oscars, man, they have a personality,
Oh
and
yeah, they're water puppies.
they start recognizing their owner, and you can
Yeah,
laugh it off. Some people might think that's not true, but I'm telling you, my old lady can walk in the door at night, and my fish just keep doing them. But when they see me walk in the door, they're all kicking their heads and splashing and swimming around a little bit faster because I'm dad. I'm the one that feeds them. I'm the one that interacts with them. I'm the one
yeah,
cleaning the tanks and stuff like
yeah,
that. And I find that very rewarding to actually see a reaction and see that, oh, I kept this tank nice. I fed them the right way. And now they're comfortable enough to try to reproduce or
yeah.
whatever.
That's
So,
something that's like a tip for that I'll say right now for any beginners. I don't know if there's any in the chat, but if anybody watching it afterward that's a beginner, if your fish are having babies, you're doing something right with your tank because most fish will not have babies if they're not in good conditions to have babies. I just can put that out there. That's just a
yes,
little piece
sir.
of advice, but
No, that's cool. That's the whole point. Educating and growing the hobby. Um, All right, and that's ironic. We'll circle back to that.
okay,
Uh, over the years, I don't know. You said you've had fish in your family or whatever,
yeah.
before you as an adult. So the question is, over the years in the hobby, who did you look up to in the hobby? And that could even be current, like
Yeah,
when you need an answer or a question or something, who do you resort to? Me, personally, I resort to the group now, but primarily Corey from Aquarium Co-op. That's my dude, man.
yeah,
Like, I like Corey. So, and it
yeah.
doesn't
So
have to be somebody famous. It could be your grandpa or your
yeah.
uncle or whatever.
hmm So yeah, that's a good question. So a lot of what inspires me. That was the question, right? It's what inspires me, correct?
Well,
Or how was it
yeah,
worded?
who do you look up to in the
Who do I
hobby?
look
What?
up to? Okay,
Right.
yeah. So like you were saying, Corey from Aquarium Co-op. That's a huge I model kind of what I want my business to turn into off of kind of what he's done. Um, as far as just having a small business and setting it up on limited funds and whatnot, which he's got way more money into what he has than what I'll have into ours to start. But I kind of use that as a model of, hey, this is what I want to push for in the long run. As far as learning more knowledge myself, as far as taking care of fish or anything like that, I still use Aquarium Co-op for that. King of DIY, Joey, he's another one. He's got just so much knowledge is out there, and he's between him and Corey are two of the most like all around knowledgeable people of fish that I've seen on YouTube. Dean as well, Dean's Fish Room with Corey and all of them. He's kind of I look up to the way he breeds fish and stuff. I want to have a setup similar to what he's got eventually too with the racking system and all that. But to do, because I do a
Right.
lot of my breeding as well, and I just eventually when I go to expand that, I would like to have something similar.
Right on. Um. All right. If you could make one change in the hobby, what would it be and why? And
Yeah,
that's an
so
open question. Anything.
yeah, so I think the biggest thing um, that kind of bothers me, not really say bothers, but the biggest thing that I personally would want to change is when people that don't have fish currently and they go to buy fish or anything like that, I want them to be educated enough to give the fish proper homes and to care properly for them and continue to do the maintenance to keep the fish happy so that way they get the most out of their purchases and the fish get the most out of them being alive and not
Right.
struggling.
You
I
want
just
them
want
to
I want
thrive,
educated
not
buyers.
just live.
Yeah, I just want educated buyers,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
that's
That's
something that
actually
that's something that's it's always going to be probably impossible because no matter what you're buying, nobody's always going to be educated on it. So it don't matter if it's cars or what you're buying. You can't educate everybody on one thing, but if there was a way to do it, I'd love to see that happen.
good answer. Great answer, actually. Um, I don't even know how I answer that question. One thing that I would change in the hobby, I agree with educating yourself before you actually dive in.
Yeah,
If I could change something that would be like across the board, is in most fish stores, and it ties in with that same thing. In most fish stores, they don't have signs or pictures or info even saying,
yeah,
hey, this Oscar cichlid is going to get 15 inches
yeah.
and
And
needs,
that's the thing too. Like a lot of the buyer education shouldn't all come down to the buyer. I feel like as a whole, stores need to make a better like system to inform buyers that hey, this fish will get big or something like that. Like there's not enough education from the stores. Like yes, there's all the education you could possibly find on Google or YouTube and stuff, but I feel like the only way you're going to really be able to push the education so that more people see it is to give it directly to the source at the stores, like you were mentioning, with signs and stuff like that. And yes, Moffat, I agree with that. Educated salespeople is that's another thing too, because you go to local places all the time, and some people just don't know what they're talking about. And it's like I don't
No,
know.
you'll
It's like
you'll ask them about a fish. In fact, I get some kind of sick rise out of knowing more than the person selling me the fish. And
yeah,
that's bad, man, but like you'll go in and you can play dumb even if you know and be
yeah,
like, "Oh, I got a 10-gallon tank." And then walk straight to cichlids and be
yep,
like, "Can I get one of these?" And they're probably most likely going to sell it to you because it's a sell. It's a
yep.
commodity or,
Now I will
an
say,
item to them.
yeah, I've seen on some stores now recently. Like I know our local store, they have a sign hung up like in their bagging section there, where they have like how many gallons is your tank, and they'll ask you questions like that. I don't know if you bought fish from them recently. I won't mention the name just because I don't want to,
Right.
mention it. But
Yeah, yeah.
like they do. They've started asking like how many gallons is your tank? Has it been cycling and stuff like that. But which is great on them. I'm glad they started doing that because like I know when I first went there they didn't do that, but that's something I've noticed they recently have
Well,
done.
when it was the place before what it is now, I feel like they were more commercial. They didn't really
Yeah,
care about the fish
yeah,
section. They were more about their other stuff.
yeah,
Whereas the new owner of said name that I'm not gonna say, Amanda, I know her a little personally. She keeps fish, so that's more her
yeah.
focus, and
Mhm.
so maybe that's the difference or whatever.
Yeah. I still wish that they would take. I still wish they would take like trade-ins and buy from locals. And I mean, I get it. They're still a chain store. Rules are rules, but it's just like, oh god, it's like every other time I'm in there, I'm bugging them about it.
He said, I love that pet store now, Tyler. Yeah, they've
Yeah.
definitely improved, at least with the fish section and even their other section in there. They're doing all right. I wish their prices were down a
Yeah, so
little.
some of their rodents and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, really?
Right, I wanted a
But
parrot from there today. They want $700 for it. Like, no. Melvin Reef, what's up,
hey,
buddy?
Melvin.
Thank you for stopping in. All right, well, let's just jump to the next question. Let's go with this one. And it might be a little different from you because you said you haven't really dove into a lot yet. But at any
Yeah.
rate, what so far has been your favorite fish to keep? Or you could just tell me what your favorite fish is that you don't even have yet.
Yeah. So like, okay, so if you just want the broadest spectrum of it, my favorite fish ever is a mandarin fish, which that's a saltwater fish. They're really neat. You'll have to look them up sometime. They're beautiful fish. They're beautiful, but they're saltwater. I don't know a whole lot about them, but I just know looking at them. If I ever had a saltwater tank, which I would have a mandarin fish. They're just beautiful. I've always loved them since I was little. But as far as what I keep, um, I mean, honestly, I look around my fish room, and it's hard to say one fish that I don't love.
Right.
But I mean, because they each have something unique about them that you just enjoy. That's why I keep them, you know. But I don't know. I've always liked swordtails, which is what I mainly do right now. I've got all my different breeds of swordtails. Um, and I've got my axolotls. It's like they're all good in their own respects. So,
Tyler
so
said,
it's,
God, going into a pet store with my girl is awful. She'll complain about the rodent care techniques, and I complain about the fish. It's rough. Yes, sir, buddy.
yeah. And so Heidi Frame in the chat there, that's my fiance,
Hello,
and
Miss Heidi.
she's a vet technician, so she is right there on the same boat as Tyler's girlfriend. So, and I know Tyler's girlfriend as well too. So yeah, they're definitely on the same boat there.
Heck yeah. And that's gonna tie back to a question later too, which is
Okay.
kind of cool. But we'll get to it. Let's see where we at. Oh, by the way, let me answer. My favorite, like I'm like you, man. I can't look at one fish and be like, man, I don't really care for it. I just got it. But I
Yeah.
do have like legit favorites. My Oscars are my babies, man.
Yeah.
I freaking love them.
And I'm sure
Any
like once I get more time into all of it, and I can say that I've owned a lot more fish, then I might be able to pick something out then. But I've been narrow so far in my short amount of time of being an adult owning fish.
Yeah. So my Oscars are my love. They they're what I started back into the hobby with, actually. But if for a broader term, just if I had to pick one fish, I'm sure the chat by
Thank you,
now knows
Melvin.
it. Some of these people, but would be a red tail catfish. I
Yeah.
will own one day when I can properly home it. So I need
How big those will
1,200
get?
gallons.
Yeah,
They
I was
get
gonna say those will
3
get if it's
foot,
like 5.
3,
Gotcha.
4,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
Alright, pull this back up. Oh, well, I mean, I'm just going to read them. If it doesn't apply to you, then we'll talk around it or whatever.
Okay.
The next question is, what's one fish, or that, no, yeah, I think I already asked that. What's one fish you haven't kept, but you would like to keep, and why?
Yeah, you've not asked me that one yet. I would like to do cichlids. I've not done cichlids yet. I showed you that 75-gallon last night that I want to get set up here eventually to keep some in. But that's the plan for something that I definitely want. I want to do eventually down the road sometime. I want to do something saltwater. I'm going to start small, like 20-gallon, or maybe a little bigger, like 30, just enough to get the experience of it and learn how to do it. Because as wanting to be a future potential store owner, even if we don't sell saltwater off the bat, I would still like to learn it. I want to learn a little bit of everything, even if I'm not a specialist in one thing. I want to be able to know enough of everything to be dangerous. But
Right.
yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I want to do some cichlids, but that'll come in time here. I just wanted to say real quick, thanks Melvin and Reeve for saying my tank's beautiful. If you stick around here later, you'll see the rest of them. This big guy back here behind me, my 55, that's kind of my show community thing.
Maple Street Aquatics, thank you very much, friend. I know you're busy. You got your own channel and stuff. I appreciate you popping in. Jordan, I don't know if you've ever checked out Maple Street Aquatics, but
I have
they got
not. I've not heard of
got
them.
a pretty good channel.
Cool. There's a bunch of people in chat that I'm gonna have to go look at after all this because I've not heard of these people. So that's exciting for me too because I love finding new creators.
All right. What's your thoughts, if you have any, on hybrid fish? Some people are completely against them. They think they're an abomination. You shouldn't mix breeds of fish. Some people love them. You know, one of my favorite fish is completely man-made, and that's a flower horn. That is a hybrid mixed with all kinds of fish. And then blood parrots are technically hybrids. So,
Gotcha. Okay, so I was gonna ask for some examples of that because I'm not super familiar with hybrids or anything like that.
or
But yeah, so you gave me some examples.
polar
So
blue parrots, those are technically hybrids.
gotcha. So what do they do to make those? Like, what's
I
the
mean,
process to make a
so
hybrid
what
fish?
they do is they're taking, I think they have to have, like, they have to either, you know, be the same type of fish as far as African cichlids or South American. Like, South American and African cichlid cannot mix. But, you know, within their breed, there's multiple breeds. Like, okay, let me not sound dumb here. So, South Americans, you have like Oscars, Green Terrors, I think Jack Dempsey's are South American, but they might be Africans. Anybody in the chat, please correct me. I always say I do not know it all. So if you hear me say something and it's wrong, please correct me.
Yeah. So
But
how do they breed these fish? Just like you would
I,
breed a
I
normal cichlid?
yeah, I mean it's just having them in the same tank together. You know, a lot of people say, for instance, Mbunas and peacocks
Okay.
are an African cichlid,
But they're
but they
different
are
lakes.
their own type. There's
Yeah.
subspecies like the
Gotcha.
yellow
I
labs
mean,
and
so from how you've explained it, I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, you're breeding fish. It's not like you're taking DNA and swapping DNA around and shit and forcing it. But I mean, if you got two fish in the same body of water and they breed and you're making a fish, then I personally I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, now when you go like pulling DNA out of one fish and injecting DNA to fertilize stuff, to me that's when
yeah, that's weird.
that's when I kind of look down on it. But me personally, I don't see anything wrong with it. As long as they're breeding on their own and you're putting them
So
together, I see nothing wrong with that.
So my thought is I'm not gonna intentionally try it. I'm not gonna purposely put this fish and this fish alone in a
Yeah,
tank and expect them to make some crazy hybrid and think I'm gonna get rich or start a
yeah,
new species.
yeah.
But
I can see the downside to that too,
if
though.
it happens naturally
Yeah, yeah,
without
like in a
my
community tank
doing,
or something like that. Yeah.
right, I'm not gonna be mad or try to kill them
No.
all or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree
And
with that.
Monster Fish Gal. No, I thought the Jack was a South American too. I could be wrong. What exactly is a Jack Dempsey? Is it South American, Central, or
Melvin
obviously you're
says
saying
South
it's not
American.
African? Melvin said South American. I don't have a problem with hybrids as long as they are not endangered or threatened fish. Yeah, I agree. Like, here's an example. I have a blood parrot and a Salvani cichlid, and they paired up. But blood parrot males are infertile. They cannot fertilize eggs. But
Oh, I
a
didn't know that.
female
Okay.
blood parrot can have babies.
Can have babies.
So if
Yeah.
my Salvani was the male and my blood parrot was the female, it could
And then they can
happen.
make
Like,
a hybrid.
they've laid eggs, he just can't fertilize them. And
Yeah,
personally, I think that would be a beautiful fish, man.
that
Once they
probably would be
crossbred,
really
it'd be
neat.
weird
Yeah,
looking, and it would be a natural rainbow looking blood parrot. Whereas there are people that like shoot that dye into
yeah,
fish, and I don't
yeah.
agree with
That's
that.
no, that's a no go for me too.
Right. Or even going as far as tattooing fish in China. That is so stupid.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's not me. Like I remember, I don't think they do it anymore, but I remember used to they would take, I think it was goldfish or some maybe a larger tetra, but on Valentine's Day they would take these fish, and I'm pretty sure they tattooed them, but they would say "I heart you" on the side of the fish. It'd have like the letter I and then a heart and then a U, and I think they would tattoo those. I don't know if you remember those or not, but I remember back in the day those used to be a big item on like Valentine's Day.
Convicts are South Americans. Convicts are relentless. I have some of them. They breed like crazy. That could be a live stream by itself talking about convicts. You can literally throw them at the wall and put them back in your tank and they'll just take off swimming. I swear. Uh, all right. What is your favorite filter to use and why? Have you been in it long enough that you kind of have like your favorite filter?
Yeah, so
Example, I like
I've
my.
started.
Go
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say my example would be I think all fish tanks need a sponge in them, but I don't care what brand. And then I like flu ball canisters and whatnot.
Yeah. So I've started. I call it like experimenting. I guess I've started messing around with different filters a little bit. So I've got 5 tanks currently. 4 of my 5 tanks are running sponges, and then I have a hang on back on my 55. So I still have the hang on back on the 55 because um, it's just I feel like because I used to have more fish in that 55, so it was a little bit higher of a bio load, and there was more waste produced because obviously anytime you have more fish, you're gonna have more waste. And a hang-on back filter does more mechanical filtration than a sponge does, so I have that on there for the extra mechanical filtration. But it's starting, I don't know, I'm having issues with it. It runs fine and everything, but I'm having issues getting it to flow properly. So I'm thinking I might end up switching to a sponge on this tank as well. I mean, I do weekly water changes and gravel. I go through and clean the gravel every week on all the tanks. So I never should run into an ammonia spike issue, but that's just how I've always done it. So, but yeah, so I
All right.
don't want to say I prefer a sponge over a hang on back. It kind of depends on the application. Um, but like on a large scale, if you're running multiple tanks, sponge is the way to go as long as you're doing regular water changes, I would say, because like it's more efficient, I'd say, because you're getting your air supply and your filtration all through one electrical source instead of having electric for your hang on back and electric for an air pump. You just plug your air pump in and you get filtration and air from that one air pump.
All right. Do you have? And I'll agree. I'll say something on the subject. So when I first started, I started with Hobbs. It's just the common thing that
Yeah,
anybody
and I
will
mean,
tell you to
and I
get,
bought
or
I bought my
comes with a
55 as a
tank.
kit. Yep, and that's what it comes with was my Hobbs. So
And then I learned about sponge filters and never looked back. I do have a couple Hobbs on some of my smaller tanks, but my point is, I recently learned though, and I might be trying it here soon enough. You can like amp up a Hob, take out everything out of it that naturally comes with it, and then
yeah,
you can line the bottom of it with some lava rock and some polyfill and make like a supercharged canister
yeah.
hob, if
Lava
you will.
rock, from
So,
what I understand, I've not experimented with it much, but lava rock is like wizard craft of fish keeping. just because of its property to be able to
Oh my God. Let
just.
me take a second. Everybody in the chat, I got to give this man the biggest shout out ever. If y'all don't know who Palmer Aquatics are, you are living under a rock, bro. So you need to look this dude up. You need to go subscribe to his channel. I owe this man a lot. I'm in a private chat with this guy. I never thought I would get that opportunity. So, Palmer, thank you very much for everything you do, all the advice you give me, all the content you put out, bro. Your tanks are crisp, clear. You ain't shooting smoke up people's, you know what. Like, you just try to present some facts. So, thank you very much, buddy, for popping in.
I'll have to check him out too. I've not heard of him before.
You're living under a rock,
That's what I
Jordan.
was gonna say. I'm living under a rock. I'm living under a rock.
All right, cool. Let's go back to, oh yeah, it was still on the same line. So do you have any specific heaters that you stand by, or lighting that you stand by, or do you just kind of grab whatever and give it a go? I know you ain't got real plants yet, and once you start doing real plants, you do need some better lighting other than your norm.
So as far as heaters go, currently I've got, so like, okay, so here's my two ends of the spectrum. So far I don't have like one brand of heater I use, just because I just kind of been using whatever. But I do have a mixture of preset heaters and adjustable heaters. Um, Try to stay away from preset heaters. They work, they get the job done. But if you're trying to breed stuff that requires you to change temperature, or you're in a cold room and you need your heaters to jack up a little bit to stay warm in the tank, then adjustable heaters are the way to go. Just because you get the adjustability of it, it kind of speaks for itself. But yeah, I always
Sorry,
try to.
I had to let my dog out.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, I try to stick with adjustable heaters because you get a lot more versatility out of them. As far as lights, I don't, I haven't. So like you were saying with plants, in my 20 long over here, I do have one Anubias plant in it so far that I'm just kind of doing some trials with. Um, but as far as like lighting with plants and whatnot, or just lighting in general, I don't have much of a preference. I do know like LED lights that have a blue or a green or a red LED that are mixed in. You're gonna get a lot better color out of your fish and out of your tank in general. Just because like a all white LED, from what I can see, it just makes it look more one color, and you get more vibrant colors the more different color LEDs you've got.
Right. I need
Because
to.
my tanks are
Sorry,
kind of mixed up. So like
I
this
got a bud,
55
and
is
I didn't mean
okay.
to
You're
cut
good.
you off, man. I
You're
owe
good.
this man right here a shout out to Aquatic
Okay. Yep. You're
Guru.
good.
That man does like the craziest aquascapes and dye ideas for aquascaping and setting up tanks. You'll have to check out his channel. Again,
Okay.
crystal clear tanks. They're very beautiful. He knows what he's doing. He's also in that fish tuber group. So,
Cool.
Aquatic Guru, thank you very much for popping in, buddy.
I'll just have you like send me a list of channels I need to check out because there's a bunch on here I need to look at. I see people have been posting them in the chat, their links, so I'll take a look at a lot of those here when I get some time.
Yeah. A lot of these people, Jordan, and if you're really going to start your YouTube channel, you're eventually going to meet some of these people in the fish community. And what I mean by that is these very live streams, like everybody that you see in here, I have met by attending other people's live streams and just, getting out there, being friendly, saying hello. And usually there's good people. There's like a 1% in this hobby that's like, I'm gonna do me, leave me the hell alone, just butt out. But the other 99% is like us, trying to help one another and grow the hobby and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. But anyway, like I was saying real quick on the lighting, so my 55, for example, it's just got the white LEDs on it. But like my 20 long, it's got a blue light in it. This huge ass 48-inch light that I have sitting above my 10-gallon because that's all I have that works right now. It's got blue and red and green, I believe. What's that? The other light I've got down on my 20 where I've got my koi swordtails breeding. It's just white and blue. But yeah, no, you can definitely tell a difference when it comes down to just white LEDs versus LEDs that have a color range in them. You just get a lot more coloration out of your tank.
I can give you a tidbit about that. So I've recently learned that as far as the colors, the only two colors that matter, and Aquatic Guru, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the only two colors that really matter as far as growth, not like brightness and shining, but for raw growth of plants, is red and blue. Something about them, they hold the most, I don't know, power or whatever it's called, and at any rate, that helps your growth. So if you just had a blue light on your tank or a red light, you would see some crazy growth. Of course, the other colors, brighten your tank, shine, make it visually appealing, if you will. But most beginner plants you can grow with just a basic LED light and they'll do fine. It's just what level are you trying to go into, growing aquascapes or aquatic plants or whatever.
Yeah.
Palmer, maybe. My tanks are embarrassing right now. Jordan is going to give us a tank tour of his at the end of the questions, and his actually look pretty and cleaned up. There'll be a day when I do
try
a
to
better
keep them
one
clean,
on my
so.
tanks. And
I was just grabbing my 20 long before this.
Right.
I just went through and razor bladed that tank yesterday on the viewing side, and I come back down and was sitting looking at the tanks like, is everything ready to go? And that tank already had algae growing on the glass again.
All right, so I think you might have answered this, but again, I'm just going to go down the list and ask the questions. How many tanks are you currently keeping up and running currently, and what are your future plans, if any, in the hobby? So I know you kind of touched on it, but maybe just refresh anybody that's new.
Lots of future plans. Yeah, so basically right now I've got 5 tanks. Nothing crazy. I've got my 55 community tank. I have a 20 long. That's my guppy community tank. That's going to be planted eventually. I'm in the process of that. I've got a 10-gallon that I use as fry grow out for my swordtails that I breed. I have a 20-gallon where I am currently selectively breeding koi swordtail, and I have my 29 where I have some axolotls. I have a pair of females. But then my future plans, as I've touched on, is me and my buddy Tyler Pegg, who was in chat. I don't know if he's still here hanging out or not, but we are gonna attempt to start a fish store of some sort. That's my long-term goal.
Alrighty, yes. So, what do you think has been your biggest challenge in the hobby so far? If one at all,
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have challenges, big or small, Really, I'd say from what I've done so far, it's kind of, I don't know if it's a challenge or it's just something I've had trouble with, but I don't know what it is. It could just be like where I'm getting them from, but I have had so much trouble keeping gouramis. I've got 2 right now that I've had for a good little bit, but it's like I've had maybe 4 of them die on me or something like that. I think it's about 4, and it's all usually it's been like something different every time. I had Popeye on one. One of them, I don't. Well, the other ones I don't know, but they like 2 of them would have just died. One had Popeye, and one had gotten like some dark spots on it. So I don't know. It could just be where I'm getting them from, or it's what. But But as far as
Everything's
like,
out back in a tote. Sorry, Jordan.
no, you're good. As far as like challenges though, I've not
Right
really
in the
had
back
a
of
whole lot yet.
Sorry, my buddy just showed up. I had this guy running me all around the creation, trying to get stuff for my pond build outside. I'm so
Yeah,
excited about that, and I can't wait till it clears up and starts taking off and looking real good. There'll be more videos to follow on that.
yeah.
Stop
Palmer
buying
Aquatics says
gouramis,
stop
they
buying
die.
Gouramis, they die. Yeah. And I've
Palmer,
heard that a lot of
if
that has to do with how they're bred because they're inbred a lot and like the more inline or not inbred, they're like line bred and the more they're line bred, the more issues they have. So I mean that's just what I've
you
heard
got,
about it. So
do you got a question up on the screen? I don't know if you can see that Aquatic
yeah,
Guru.
it
He said,
says
"This is for Jordan. I
yeah.
work at a fish store, and we have tons of issues with gouramis' health problems.
Yeah. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if
My
anybody knows
gourami,
for
he
sure, but
lasted like two weeks.
and both of mine are dwarf
So
gouramis as well. I should add that. I have a powder blue dwarf, and then I've got it's. I don't know if it's the flame dwarf or if it's just the regular dwarf. I think it's a flame dwarf. But
to the chat, my gourami, I had him for like 3 weeks, and he got Popeye, and then he like died 2 days later. And I don't know if that was poor health, like on my part, or just poor health on the fish itself. You know, I have plenty of fish in the tank that he was in, and they haven't
yeah,
died
that's the
on me.
thing too.
But
Like all the gourami that I've had die have just been in my community tank, and every other fish has been fine. But it's just I've had issues with them. And like I've had neon tetras in this tank since I've had it, and never had neon tetra issues. Everybody says that they're always the ones that get neon tetra disease or they die off like crazy, and it's just like I've never had issues. I think I've got 7 just regular neon tetras, and I've got 4 white neon tetras, and they've all done fantastic in my tank. So, but yeah, I just don't know.
right,
It's just something about gouramis, I guess. I'll probably be done with them after these 2. I just wanted to try them because they're beautiful fish, but they're
yeah, they're
actually on the
really like eye catching, man. But
yeah, on the
you know
on the
what?
terms
I,
of
I
gouramis, real
I'm
quick.
done with. But go ahead. Yeah, I
On the
mean,
terms of gouramis, real quick. We finally got a logo made up for our store here. It's trying to load my other camera. I don't know why it's having issues. Come on now.
I will eventually own one more gourami. Can anybody in the chat guess what kind it will be?
I'm gonna guess kissing gourami. There we go. So here's our new logo that we've got.
Yeah,
And I want to
that's
give a
kind of
big shout
cool.
out to yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Tyler's fiance or girlfriend for doing this for us. There's her Instagram,
Uh,
AWP Digital Arts, Rachel. She does graphic
she made
design
that
and
for you.
everything. Yep, she hand drew the fish and everything, and then it all gets put over to her tablet. And she does graphic designs and all that. But she's awesome, dude. She does great work. She always hooks me up with anything I need. So if you guys need any graphic design work, make sure to hit her up. I had to throw that
Yep.
shameless plug in there real quick.
So, Palmer and Jordan, you guys are both kind of right. I think it's one and the same fish. I was thinking the giant pink kissing gouramis or whatever. When I finally had that 1,500 gallon built, I think those are so cool. They have so much personality and they get freaking huge. Like, my obsession is monster fish, even though I can't home a lot of them right now. All right.
Yeah, as Tyler said in the chat too, that she drew all that in a day for me. I texted her on Friday, I think, and I said, "Hey, is there any chance you can get us a logo for our store by like Sunday?" And I had this done like Saturday morning. So yeah, she's awesome. If anybody needs her, go check her out. She does great work for a reasonable price.
Yeah, I'll have to for sure. My old lady does art too. She's the one that came up with the casual aquatics icon. I just gave her the ideas and she drew something up for me. Like she does digital art on the regular.
Tyson had to come down and see what was going on.
Oh, hi, buddy.
What are we doing, Bob? Why you look so sad? What's Daddy doing? Am I down here talking to myself?
Right. Okay, the fun question, and this is one that I said we'll tie back around to. Okay, so obviously there is, but the question goes, is there a significant other, and do they help you with your hobby, support you in your hobby, or is it just you with a bunch of tanks and they're like, whatever? Because
I hope
usually
Heidi's
it's
still
50
here
50.
watching. So,
usually
yeah,
they either go ahead, just
I don't want to say she hates it, but she doesn't love it. She encourages it in ways, and she encourages it, and she definitely hasn't tried to kick me out of my own house yet. So, as Tyler says, he's the true support.
right.
But yeah, no, she enjoys it. She loves it just as much as I do. Like those axolotls that I have back here, which I'll get to showing you guys. Those were actually like for her Mother's Day gift because she's always loved axolotls, and I was like, well, and so our other buddy, so me and Tyler's other buddy Tyler, so there's two Tylers. Those were actually his, and they were about a year and a half old. And I told him that I've always been interested in them ever since I went to his house the first time, like a while back. He lives over in Shelbyville, about an hour and a half from me. But yeah, there she goes. Definitely Tyler. I'm the one that tells him no. But yeah, so over at his house, the first time I went there, he had them in this beautiful 50-gallon cube aquarium. And I was like, oh, those are cool. Me and Heidi's always wanted some of those and, never had any. And then he texted me a few months later and he's like, hey, I'm ready to get rid of these. Here's my price. And I just had to get them. So we got those as part of her Mother's Day gift. But they're really neat. I love the little axolotls. They're cool.
My old lady. Go ahead. No, you're good.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. I was just gonna say something. You're good.
I was just gonna say my old lady was that on the fence type. Like I told her, like she knew in my past that I love fishing and that I kept fish before, but not to the extent that I dove in. And she was on the fence for the longest time. She want to do nothing to do with the tanks, period. And it's ironic you said your old lady likes axolotls because she used to always say, well, I would like an axolotl though. And I'm like, but that requires a cold tank and a special setup and
let me add
blah,
something
blah,
to
blah,
that
blah.
because as much as we love these axolotls, it makes the fish room way more difficult in a sense because all my tanks, are warm water fish, 75 degrees or so. But with the axolotls being cold fish, I have to keep an air conditioner in the room that keeps the room cool. So, it's like, and I've got heaters in all my tanks and always have, but, those heaters got to do a little bit of extra duty just to keep the tanks warm. But it's all good. It works in the long run.
It kind of worked out. I had a spare 20-gallon tall. I also have a spare 20-gallon long, which I might actually switch my axolotls to the long because they need more like moving space. They don't use from the middle of your tank up except for to go up and get air.
Yeah.
So like that space
And
is almost null and void.
Yeah, I've got a 30-gallon tank that I want to transfer them into eventually because the footprint's different. So they're in a 29 now, and the 29's taller, but the 39's got a bit bigger footprint to it, so they'd work better for them being on the ground.
Right. And ironically, I just obviously don't run a heater. I got two types of filters in the tank, and my room
I just run
upstairs.
A sponge on mine.
My room upstairs stays super, super cool. So it works out. His temperature stays anywhere from 59 to about 67 degrees. And that's truly where you want to keep an
Yeah,
axolotl at. I
ours
mean,
stay about 66 to 67.
right, right. um. So yeah, at any rate, she wanted one of those, but we only just recently got them. What got my old lady actually into the hobby is a blood parrot. I took her to the store. I said, you know what? I'm getting fish. You just look around. And she came up to me. She said, ooh, 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 ooh. Like she didn't even know what it was called. It was just a bunch of oohs. And she
Yeah.
was pointing at it.
Heidi
And it
says,
was
"Hey,
a
I like
big
those."
old
I'm
blood
like, I
parrot.
like those. Yeah.
Yeah. So from that point, we actually ended up losing a couple fish right off, not necessarily knowing the nitrogen cycle. And once I educated myself and learned, hey, I got to change this water every day for fucking 6 weeks, 50% at least almost. I told her, I'm like, I need your help. And she didn't enjoy carrying buckets of water up and down the stairs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But it kind of got us to bond together more within it. Now, it's still primarily my hobby, but she'll actually like engage in it now. She'll be like, oh, I seen the fish do this, or, whatever the case may be. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then like I told you last night, I discovered a cheaper way, or not a cheaper, quicker, easier way
DIY
to
method.
drain
Yeah.
tanks. And from there, now I don't have to bother her with it, so she can actually appreciate it more. I can
Yeah.
drain 7 tanks halfway in less than an hour.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Tyler Pegg said Rachel has talked me into getting her own guppy breeding tank.
There you go,
Hey,
Tyler.
buddy,
I
I'm
got
about to
all the
start
pens
breeding
out in the
guppies
garage.
too. Hopefully, I'm going to be breeding some guppies, some shrimps, and all kinds of aquatic plants.
Let me know when you get some shrimp. 'Cause if I don't end up buying some before I'm ready for them, and you have some, I'll come grab some of those once you get some breeding. So I think I want
Heck
to put some
yeah.
shrimp in with my guppies too.
Melvin said his lady is Filipina from Philippines, General Santos, but she's a OFW in Kuwait. Plus, she's a YouTube vlogger.
I've
Yeah,
got some
Melvin, but I've seen
Philippine
her
relatives.
support your hobby. She, is in your live streams and stuff like that. It's always better if your significant other is part of it, or at least, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't know, neutral on it. Or I'm just saying, I know some people, like, they say, Richard, he mentioned in here, give me a second to find his. Okay, right here. He said, I want to find somebody who is already in the hobby like me. And that's cool.
Good luck.
if, if, if you're single and you're dating and you tell a girl that, oh, I got 22 tanks at home, they're usually like, ah, no, not this dude. Sorry, I just
Yeah.
got a phone call. Bye. So
Yeah,
that's pretty
BRB
much
gonna
where
call
that.
mom. Oh,
Right,
must wait. She
right.
may not be replying to that though. I don't know, but yeah, I do need snails too, Mystery Snail Garden. I've been contemplating a lot. You ship snails, don't you? I think she does. Or
Yeah,
she,
well,
I can't remember.
she has the group that has everybody selling them in it. Like that's another
Okay.
one you need to follow. She's not, I don't
Yeah,
think,
I've
on
seen
YouTube,
hers on Facebook before.
but she's in our Facebook group. She has plenty of her own group. She has band groups. I need to get you on board with the band app. If you don't
Yeah,
know
I'll have to
about it,
check that out. I've seen
you
everybody
definitely.
using it. I've just not, got onto that yet. So.
Oh man, I just won a raffle. I got $200 in store credit through somebody, and that's how I'm actually gonna start some of my breeders.
Nice.
Get me some nice like yellow amino shrimp and
There you go.
some
Yeah.
good quality
What
stuff.
what store is it?
It's New Zealand pet something. I don't know that they have a legit like storefront,
Yeah.
but I
It's
mean,
just
they're
a
on
shipper
band
online.
and those ship to you, yeah, and stuff like
Cool.
that.
Yeah, sounds
So
good. Yeah, I'll check it
most
out here soon.
most certainly. So technically, the last question on the list before we let you go ahead and show everybody your tanks real quick. It's kind of null and void, but do you have any other hobbies or passions that you either coincide with your fish hobby?
Yeah, I've got other hobbies. They don't really coincide with fish per se, but like I do. I'm a big car enthusiast. Work on cars at home. Uh, I am a lawn and garden technician. You know, I work on mowers and stuff. That's my full-time job. But yeah, I'm a big car enthusiast. I like anything that's loud and fun. Imports, muscle, whatever. Um, that's about my other biggest hobby. But just working on
Right.
cars and going to car shows and doing
Me,
photography at car shows and stuff.
right? For me, even though I don't get to do it a lot, I like to actually go fishing. I haven't done it
Yeah,
so
I
much
like.
though. Like ever since I got into the hobby, I feel some type of way. Like I'm gonna kill these fish and eat them, you know, so they serve a purpose. But when you start keeping some of the same fish that you could catch, it feels kind of weird. Like my favorite fish is a red-tailed catfish. I would never catch that and eat it. My favorite other fish is an Oscar. Do you know people eat Oscars? Like, no
Yeah,
way. I
in
couldn't do
Peru
that.
they make something called pleco soup. I don't know if you
Ew.
watch like aquarium co-op when they go to
Yeah.
Peru and catch fish. There's these big like rafts that they have out in the rivers that they have these huge plecos that they sell, and people they make pleco soup out of these plecos. I was like, I could not eat a bottom feeder. There's no way. Like
No.
I love eating fish and stuff, but I'm not a bottom feeder type of guy.
Right. Um, okay, guys, before I have Jordan start showing his tanks, do anybody in the chat have any random questions for him? There's no dumb question and there's no right or wrong. Just if you might have a question for Jordan on his shop that he's going to be opening up or his experience in the hobby or any questions in general, you know, get them out there in the chat and I'll start pulling them up. Uh, Heidi said, "Do you need snails or
What do
want
I want?
snails?"
A little of both.
So, so check it out. In my opinion, and Mystery Guardians can touch on this. She even I was talking to her in private chat yesterday about this very thing because I want snails for my pond that I'm setting up,
Yeah,
and I learned a thing or two. Firstly, mystery snails are not cleaner snails; they are strictly just to look pretty. They probably make as much of a mess as your fish do. Um, Let me see if I say this correct. She said trapdoor snails will actually clean your tanks. So I need to get some of them for my pond. A
yeah,
personal preference, just that I like rabbit snails. I think they're really cool, and I'd like to start breeding some of them and selling them too, and also have them
gotcha.
for my inside tanks.
Yeah,
So,
so as far as like me, my knowledge of snails, I've if I'm gonna start some snails, I think I want to do. I think they're nyrite snails.
near right, yeah.
Yeah, nearite. Those I like those kind just because I know they can't breed in fresh water. They'll lay eggs, but they won't be fertile or whatever. And they're just really good cleaners as far as I'm aware.
That's funny, Tyler. I said that's what I said too. I'm like, you ain't got the caveman thing
I know
going on
I
no
freaked them
more.
out yesterday because we were doing some testing and just talking out and talking and hanging on here, and he's like, "You look different." I said, "Yeah, my hair shrunk."
Your old lady said, "No, Tyler, I didn't like the Amish look." Maybe you should, maybe you should shave then.
Not
Not
about the
about the
Amish
Amish
life.
life. uh, so I think that question was directed like at you or whatever. So is that like what you're going to be looking for them? Would you be wanting some Nerite snails, or what kind of snails
Yeah,
would you want to
eventually I'm
get?
gonna get some. I think I want to start with some Nerites here eventually.
I need snails that are not going to eat plants and potentially clean some of the tank, because
Yeah,
obviously I want to grow plants. And now I have heard it be discussed that snails won't just eat live plants. What they will eat is dying plants. If you have decaying plants that are not doing well, that's when you'll
yeah,
start seeing them on your plants, and they'll start eating at them and stuff like that.
yeah.
Nerites are great. They love diatoms, brown algae. Tyler Peck discovered fire in traditional farming
I think he's
techniques.
talking about the Amish still.
Yeah. Hey, the Amish have some things, man. They're
Yeah.
real crafty.
Amish designed all the like the first renditions of a square baler, and a lot of those are still square
Right.
balers are still very similar to how they were made when they were first, produced. They're still very similar. We work with balers a lot at New Holland there where I work.
Right, right. If anybody else has any more questions, please feel free to keep dropping them. Richard say they also eat wood. I stay with driftwood in every single one of my tanks because of my plecos, let alone
Where do
snails.
you find your driftwood at?
Uh, so I will give a shout out to Belinda's Driftwood on Facebook. She's actually in our group, and she has her own page. Also, I'm trying out another guy. His name's Terry something. I'm not sure. I'm gonna try to get him up on a stream too. But
Cool.
so those are the two people that I have got my driftwood from so far. Otherwise, I go to my local lake or local pond or river, and I grab some wood, man. Like if it's out
Yeah,
there, it should be okay for your tank. Now, usually there's a process. You got to boil it or
yeah,
soak
boil it and
it
all that.
before you throw it in your tank, or you're gonna have an explosion of tannins and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll let them ask a few more questions if they want. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, and then when I get back, I'll answer anything else, and then we'll do a tank tour.
Yes, sir, and then we'll get you touring your tanks.
Cool.
Aquafunk Aquatics, shout out to you, my guy. I see you doing big things. I don't even know if you know me, man, but I know you. I see you. I've seen you do a couple live streams. I think maybe you was on one with Bob Kaler's Aquatics. I could be wrong. Maybe I seen you on Drew's channel, Fishy Biz, but you're well known and much appreciated, Aquafunk, and I appreciate you taking the time to stop by my little old stream. I need to maybe get you up here as a guest, but I don't know how to contact everybody yet. When I'm in those live streams, I'll try to ask people if they're interested in coming up here and being a guest for me. And I usually give out my email or tell them to look me up on Casual Aquatics on Facebook, and or just on Facebook, Sean Wisnaski, and we'll get with each other. We'll communicate, and I'm a little channel. I'm not a big channel. I'm not famous. I'm a nobody, or that's what I say. Not that I'm a nobody, but I'm down at the bottom of the pole compared to some of y'all. But that don't mean that I won't let the next somebody underneath me come up and interview them. You ain't got to be Corey from Co-op or Joey from King of Die. Like he probably wouldn't even be entertained with my questions. I want real people like me that I could walk up to on the street and be like, "Hey, dude, I got da 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 today. What did you get?" I want to keep it real and humble and just help the hobby grow, educate everybody. So, Aquafunk, your appearance is awesome. Thank you very much, buddy, for stopping in. Melly Mel, Melvin, that's up for debate. What did Melvin say? Heidi
asking
Frame,
about
what
the
about
Jewish
a
look.
Jewish look or Muslim bearded look? Aquafunk, you said you see me on the band app? Yeah, I spam a lot, man. My bad. But yeah, definitely hit me up on there so we can maybe work out a time frame and I can get you up here as a guest because I know you got a lot of knowledge to share with some people.
Am I allowed to ask the
All
chat
right, Jordan.
question?
Yeah, you can ask whatever, anybody
Okay.
ask whatever. There's very little rules that I
So,
will
yeah.
demand to be followed.
Okay. So, where are you guys located, and like, how far do you guys travel for fish? You don't have to be specific. I don't need addresses, but just like a city and a state or whatever. I'm just curious how far you guys would travel for fish or stuff like that. And like,
Bro, that's a good question. I need to add that to my list of questions. Honestly, how far is the average consumer willing
yeah,
to travel for fish? And now, not any fish, because I'm going to answer it better be good quality fish for me to travel more than 2 hours. But if I know it's great quality, I'll do so. And otherwise, I'll just get on Google and type fish shops. And if I can make it there and back in a decent time, I'll go
yeah,
check it out.
yeah.
And I know a lot of people, I'm going to extend his question. Are you guys more prone to order online from somebody if the fish are shipped? Or would you rather buy them in person, and why? Like, what's your reason? I mean, I'm sure it's a pretty common, simple reason. A lot of people don't like the idea of having fish in bags for 3 to 5 days, but that's why they offer overnight shipping. And some people don't like ordering online because of that very reason. Shipping is retarded, man.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
if you want to
It's
send a
crazy.
fish
Man.
overnight, that's like 60 bones just right off the top, not to mention buying the fish. So if I could offer you advice as a future customer, I know you gotta make overhead and you gotta make profit. But if there is any way for you to lower rather your shipping or the price of fish to compensate, I would personally buy from you all the time. I'm always checking out new websites and comparing prices of the fish and the shipping because this website might have a fish for $15, but their shipping's only 35, and this store might have that fish for only $7, but they're shipping $60-$70. So I'd
Yeah.
rather go to that other deal. So
Yeah.
yeah, let me hear it in the comments. Florida, I will go about an hour. Yeah, I feel like that's about the going rate.
So I go
Mo-
like about the farthest I've went, because from where we live, Indianapolis is about an hour and a half from us, and that's about the farthest I've went. I don't see much of a point going farther than that, but
Pretty close to you. I travel like 300 feet for
yeah,
work
where
for
Tyler
fish.
Tyler Tyler just works across the street from the LSF to us, because the bargain center, it's just right
Yeah.
across the center there, or right across the road there.
By the way, Tyler, bro, I'm sure I have met you. Not like directly, but I be going to Bargain Center. I'm sure you see my ugly mug in there with my old lady a time or two. Uh, let's see here. Melvin Reap is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Uh, I seen Richard. He says I live in Colorado, and I'd travel 15 to 30 minutes usually for fish.
Yeah. So the reason I
Uh,
asked that question is because, and I'm sure you'll back me up on this as well, like where we are located is in a very inconvenient spot for fish as far as purchasing
man,
from a store. Because
amen.
for us, we're driving to, uh, now I'm not going to include chain stores like PetSmart or anything like that because Muncie is fairly close to me. It's 45, 50 minutes. But
Right.
if we're talking like, you know, fish
The
stores
reef, for
where,
instance,
yes,
or
fish
an
stores
actual
where a
aquarium shop.
consumer can breed a fish and sell that fish to the store as a mom and pop family owned store, you're looking at from us, we're going an hour and a half to Indianapolis, or we're driving an hour to Dayton. There's no in between for us. We're not close to anything.
Wait,
And
you said you're either going to Dayton or Indy then?
yeah, because I mean, you know of any places closer than that? There's like, I think
Uh,
there's one place on the east side of Indy. It's called it's like Fish in Motion or something like that.
yeah,
Aquatics
yeah.
in
I
Motion.
haven't been there yet, but
I've
I've
not
heard of
been
it.
there either. I mean, but as far as like just straight up distance, they're probably the closest because they're on the east side. But I just,
Mm.
that's a big like selling factor to me in wanting to start a store is my location because like there's a lot of fish enthusiasts around where we live, and I'm sure most of those people have to drive that far just to get decent fish. I also know a lot of the local people only do business with, local breeders and stuff. They won't go to fish stores, but I want to try to change that stigma. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing to do that. But
That's
I
that's
just kind of want
exactly what. Sorry,
to,
that's
yeah,
exactly what Mystery Snows just said right there. A lot of people prefer small business and home breeders versus
yeah,
chain stores.
yep. And I kind of want to break that stigma because me personally, I see nothing against, you know, going to a store, but I'd much rather go to a mom and pop locally owned store than going to a PetSmart, Petland, Petco, or something like that. And I just want to
Us.
make. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say to answer your question, I do have one, and it's right before Dayton. It's only 20 minutes from here versus going all the way to Maureen or Dayton to a little bit fishy or Gerber's.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. I would need to get you his connection, or you might just need to join his group. But I got a buddy kind of doing the same thing you're about to be doing, starting up a small business. He's been established for a minute. His name is Morgan Hamblin, and his group and site and store is called Aqua Cave Aquatics, and he
Okay.
also has 937 Aquatics, I think is what it's called.
That's a
Like I
fish
said, I'll
club,
get
right?
you
I think I've
his
heard of that one.
information so you can, get in contact with him, check him out, and I'll even send him a message like, "Hey, man, I'm sending my buddy your way." So some random guy is gonna message you,
Okay.
and put that whole respect and little conversation in there.
Hey, John's Fish Room. Welcome to the thing, to the
Hey,
live stream.
John's
Thank you
Fish
for
Room.
coming
I'm
over
not
here.
even sure who you are, buddy, but thank you so very much for stopping in. I'm seeing a
That's a
lot of new
beautiful bristle nose
faces.
on
This
your
is
profile picture.
awesome, guys. Thank you
I
very
love that
much.
bristle nose on his profile picture. He's beautiful.
Yeah, looking good. Ian's Fish Room, you're another one, buddy. I'm not sure if I've seen you or not, but thank you. He said I live in Northeast Pennsylvania and will travel about an hour. John's Fish Room, I have a fish room in Cincinnati. Do you? Well, I'm gonna
Not
have
too
to get
far.
with this dude after the stream.
Yeah.
I just went to Cincinnati the other day to what is it? Aquatic Artisans. That's that live stream I
I
done, and
want to
oh
check
my
that one out.
god, that place is beautiful, bro. If you have the time and means to go there, you need to check them out.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Cincinnati, hold on a second.
Mystery Snows, there's more variety online, and you can support a smaller business. I have no problem whatsoever buying online. I will buy fish online all the time. Oh snap!
Had to do it to him. Had to do it
um,
to him.
I yeah. I am particular. Like this is my only thoughts on ordering like fish online, whereas I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me. Uh it's pretty much my business ethic, I will try anybody out once. Absolutely anybody out once. And then depending on how that experience goes, I might keep coming back to you. And I'm going to leave a rating on the Aquatic Ratings group on Facebook. If y'all don't know about the Aquatic Ratings group, check it out on Facebook. for sure. Like, it started on band. I co-inspired with the creator of it on band, and I moved it to the Facebook platform. And it's just a place where everybody can, you know, keep everybody honest and help each other out in the hobby. Oh, you're the dude. Hey, man, thank you very much for coming and watching my stream. This guy, let me give him a shout out then. John's Fish Room. He works at Aquarium Artisans. This man was just all, helpful. I've been to plenty of fish stores where you walk in there and nobody even approaches you. They don't say nothing. They just wait for you to have some fish and then ready to check out.
There we go. Try to get my camera to turn on.
Oh, this John dude came up to me. He asked me if I was doing okay. He asked me seeing that thing, and he kind of gave me a little bit of a guided tour through the stores. So, John's Fish Room, thank you very much, buddy. I was in shock when I walked into that store. Y'all don't have like a lot of numbers. You don't keep a lot of large cichlids or a big freshwater side, but your store is kept clean, immaculate, and what fish you do have, salt and fresh, are beautiful.
Why is my camera doing that? My camera flashing on your screen?
Yeah.
That was weird. I don't know why it was doing that.
Are you trying to switch your camera?
No, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. It just started doing that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, guys. I got to correct. That was Noah. He was the worker. John, are you the owner, sir? Do you own Aquarium Artisans? I think it's you and your wife, if I'm correct. At any rate, fine. You need to give that guy a bonus because he was a cool dude and he was very helpful.
So
just an employee. But you were there when I was there? I'm sorry, man. Like, obviously, how am I going to know? I'm just seeing you say you're from Aquarium Artisans, and that was my very first time ever being to the store you work at. But at any rate, I want the questions to keep coming. If anybody has anything absolutely about fish, keep them coming. But I'm going to turn the attention to Jordan and let him show us his fish room. So I'm going to put you on the solo, buddy, and it is on you to go ahead and show your tour.
Am I allowed to like plug my Instagram and stuff real quick?
You can do whatever you want, buddy. Whatever you want.
Let's get this set up here real quick. Oh, that's the wrong button.
Red tape.
Camera switch real quick.
How much did it cost?
Load.
I appreciate you, man. For sure. I gotta give Chris Torbeck a shout out. He's my dude. He's the one that was running me around, or I was running him around ragged, getting stuff for this at a live stream. He took the notion to go to the store while I'm streaming to get the correct parts because I guess we missed an item or two, and he came back with the parts to help me with this project. Here soon, I'm going to be having him up on the screen.
Here we go.
He's going to be one of my special guests, too.
So here's our Instagram page for our store that we're working on, something fishy.aquatics. If you guys want to give that a check out, I just got this page put up like Friday. So there's our Instagram page. I'll show off the YouTube here in a few minutes. But we'll go ahead and do the fish tour. Start over here. This is my 20 long. Oh, why did my camera switch? What are we doing now?
Right.
I didn't even make it switch. Come on now. Let's try it again.
Thank you for being nice to Chris. No, I mean, she could come in for a minute or whatever. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you.
Maybe.
All right. Are you having some issues with the camera there?
Yeah, it's not wanting to switch.
Let me see if I can try it. I'm gonna remove you from the solo. Or no. Hey, you backed out. Well, everybody, I'm sure he'll click back on that. I'm guessing he hit the end button or something accidentally. I just want to go back over and say thank you, everybody. You ain't got to be a big name in this hobby for me to be excited to see you in my stream. Though when I see big names like Palmer and I see big names like Aquafunk, it does excite me. It makes me feel good. It's like a feeling of satisfaction, like I'm doing something right, that I could at least get their attention or acknowledge them, or they care to even, you know, discuss fish with me or talk to me on a personal level. So big shout out to the big names. In fact, shout out to Corey on Aquarium Co-op, like always. But I have something to show y'all. I'm gonna put it on my community feed here soon. But I just wanted to maybe show you guys this. If y'all are on my Facebook, you might have seen this, and maybe not. Okay, so I'm gonna try my best to make this come into focus. So I got an acknowledgement on the Aquarium Co-op forum. You guys can kind of see that. I'm going to read it to you, though. It says, Casual Aquatics has earned 9 of 14 ranks and is in the top 2% of all members on the forum. That was awesome, and I just received that last night. I'm like, why me? You know, sure, I try to post in there. I try to engage in stuff, but there's plenty of people that do way, way, way more than what I do as far as the form, and to get that acknowledgement from Corey himself and his staff was incredible to me. Aquafunk, is that for me or for Jordan? Because my favorite fish that I own currently, I mean, I love all my fish, but my favorite fish that I own currently are my Oscars. My all-time favorite that I will own one day are red-tail catfish. I also am very partial to my jaguar cichlid. And I'm partial to puppy dogs, especially that one.
Is you coming to
Hi,
Daddy?
buddy.
That's Tyson.
Jordan, real quick, you want to repeat your answer to that question? What's your favorite fish so far?
Oh gosh. Okay, so my answer to that was my favorite fish ever, like as far as just any fish in the world, is a mandarin fish, which is a saltwater fish in the ocean. I've never owned one. I don't have saltwater yet, but that's like my favorite fish ever, just out of anything. As far as like fish that I keep, I really enjoy them all, but like I've always done my swordtails the longest. I really enjoy my swordtails.
Hey, while you're
But yeah,
starting to give your tour, sorry, I'm
oh,
gonna
you're good. What's
step
up?
away for 1 minute. I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick, but you're
All
more
right,
than welcome to just go ahead and start your tour.
cool. I can do that. All right, guys. So with the fish tour, there's Tyson here. Helps out. This is my 20 long. It's gonna be a planted tank. As you can see right now, I've just got my one Anubias plant. Uh, One thing weird about this tank is that this, I don't know what you would call it. You might be able to see it on the stream. It's got this like milky looking stuff on the outside. I've tried glass cleaner. I've tried everything. I can't get it to come off. It won't come off with a razor blade. It's on the outside of the glass though. If you guys have any ideas of what to do to get that off, please let me know, because I've tried and it won't come off. The only thing I've not tried to do is like buffing the glass, which I'll probably come to that eventually if I can't get it anyway else. But let me show you the fish that's in here. It's a mix of guppies right now. I've got reds, which are these orange guys. I believe they call them red somethings. And then I've got some blue. There's a male here. There's the blue male. And then I've got some sunrise guppies, I think. I don't know. I have to brush up on my names for them. I just got a lot of these guys off of my buddy who breeds them. He gave me well, all of them except for the reds. I bought the reds here at a local store. And then I have one fancy tail back here hiding. But yeah, so this is going to be, I'm just going to try to get a good sized colony of them going here. And then once I can expand my operations a little bit, I will start separating them out and line breeding them. But for now, they're all just kind of together. But this tank here, it's actually, you can't really tell. I turn my room light on. It's got black trim. It was originally a wood trim tank, but I went through and painted everything. And I painted the back wall, and I painted the side wall over there as well. Since this tank's in kind of the corner of my room, I left these two corner sides open, so as you're coming down the stairs, you can still look in from the side and get a really neat side shot of it. As you can see, it's got two heaters in it. This heater right here, it's not turned on. I was running two heaters on the tank because I only had two small preset ones, and I couldn't get the water up to temp. I didn't have fish in it, but I was just trying to get the water up to temp to put fish in it. And I was having issues getting it up to temp. I finally got that bigger heater in there, so now that's the only one running. But it's doing a great job keeping it up to temperature. This tank here is going to progress a lot over time just because this is the very early stage of it being planted. It's a dirted tank. So basically on the dirted tank, I just do topsoil on the bottom, and then your layer gravel above it, and then you put your plants in. But yeah, that's my pathetic attempt at doing aquascaping. So over to the other corner now, I'll show you just a quick overview of my other 4 tanks that are out here, and then I'll go into detail on them more. So this is my 55. This is the kind of like my main tank that shows everything off, kind of. I kind of got a mix of everything in here. Me personally, I think it's kind of understocked right now. Eventually, over time, I'm gonna put some more fish in it. I had more gouramis in here, as I had mentioned, but like you guys were talking about, just had trouble keeping them alive. Got a powder blue up there, a male, and then a flame dwarf gourami somewhere, probably back there hiding maybe. But here is our lone angelfish. Pretty sure it's a male based off of its head shape. I've been doing some research on sexing them because I want to start breeding angels. But from what I can tell, it's a male.
Yeah, I'm
Any of
not.
you guys know about
Hey,
sexing
Jordan.
angels?
Richard, if he's still in the chat, he might be able to tell you. I think that's like one of his favorite fish.
Yeah. So if any of you guys know some good ways to sex angels, let me know. I've been looking it up, and I can't tell if this one. I'm sure they all have that sex gland that hangs down. I don't know how big they're supposed to be or how small it's supposed to be, because on this fish I can see something that hangs down, but it's really small, and I'm just not sure if I'm looking at the right gland or not. So if you guys know anything about that, let me know in the chat so I can try to get that figured out. You can see some of my neon tetras swimming around here. I'll turn this light off behind me, get rid of that glare. See some neon tetras swimming around. I've got 4 white neon tetras in here as well. Those are really neat fish. I hadn't seen those till a few months ago when I saw those guys, and I was like, well, those are probably pretty rare, and I had to have a couple of them. Most neon tetras, run a couple of dollars a piece, and these guys were like 6.5. So I was like, I
Right.
need them. I was like, I need them. And then here we have currently the only male in this tank that is a male neon swordtail. He's a really pretty fish. He's in great condition, but I just have aggression issues with him. I'm not sure why. He's just a really dominant fish in the tank, which kind of gets
Yeah.
annoying because every once in a while I got to throw him in quarantine. But yeah. So then
So
I've got
hey, I don't know if you
okay
can see the screen while you're doing your tour, but
the chat.
Aquafunk said there is no way to 100% sex an angelfish until they breed, and there's tubes that pop out.
Okay, I got you. So in order to see that, then Aquafunk, you'd have to have at least like 2 in a tank or 3 in a tank or something, right? Because I've only got the single one, so there'd probably be no way of knowing from if I understand that correctly. But yeah, so we've got a pair of female velvet wag swordtails. Female 1, female 2. And then we have a pair of twin bar solar flare females. I used to have a male because I was going to line breed these guys as well. But the male got beat up by that guy there, and we ended up losing him. And when I found these 2 females last week, they only had females. But I found them for steal because they had them labeled as assorted swordtail instead of just the twin bar solar flares. So I got them at like half the price you usually would. Get 3 to 5 more. Okay. Eventually, I want to have a tank set up with just mainly angelfish. How do you think a few more would do in this tank, Aquafon? It's a 55-gallon. You've pretty much seen the stocking. It's not crazy stocked. But how do you think a few more would do in this tank? Because I've never had aggression issues with that one. He's not aggressive to anything. He's just really passive. But I don't want to put a bunch in there and then all of a sudden them start eating everything. But let me know what you think about that and potentially get some more. I got to turn the room light on real quick so we can see the axolotls. I don't keep a light on their tank because they don't have eyelids, and I try not to keep them in bright light and just hurt their eyes. But yeah, we've got 2. They're both female. There's Toothless, and Fury is back there behind her. They're about a year and a half, 2 years old. Got them off my buddy. But yeah, they're pretty neat guys. They're really tame. Like you can stick your hand in the water, they'll come up to you. They'll kind of nip at your fingers because I feed them worms and they think they're worms. They don't hurt. They don't have teeth. Really neat little fish.
Right.
Or I guess amphibians or whatever you want to call them. They're not really a fish.
So, I, I'm just butting in a little. Like I do have lights on my tank, but I have it with like heavily planted and floaters,
Yeah.
so it's not like direct light gets to
Yep.
them. And my room is kept dark too. Like I don't keep a lot of extra lights on and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like I pretty much, I guess, break the rules in everything that I do. Not intentionally in the sense of it, but like I keep Africans with South Americans, and they say you can't do that. And then they say you're not supposed to keep nothing with an axolotl. I have a guppy in there that breeds babies. Again, they were in there before I got the axolotl, and I just accepted that it
Yeah.
would become food, and it never did.
Gotcha.
So, I
Huh.
mean, at any rate.
Yeah. So and something I want to show you guys too, real quick that I have set up kind of extra on this tank. Something I just wanted to try out. You probably noticed this piece I've got hanging right here. This is a heater slash cooler sensor for a tank. You can basically set it up to run a heater or a cooler. I have
Yeah.
it set up to run a cooler or a fan because, axolotls are cold water fish. So basically you go through and you program this, and then down here you plug your fan in. And I don't have it's not set up ready just because the tank needs turned. But here's my fan set up. These fans
Hey,
weren't
did
super
you get that
effective.
off of Amazon?
I did.
I've been looking at it and I've been wanting to buy it for mine because I keep a
Yeah.
large fan on my tank.
Honestly, I'd probably stick with that because I've not had a whole lot of luck with that. Like before I put the air conditioner down here, it still wanted to get pretty warm, around 80 or around 70. My bad, 70. It wanted to get up to about 70, 71 degrees, and it will be aggressive
They will
during
be
breeding.
aggressive during. Yeah.
So if I
Put
had
them in a
another
20
tank
high.
set up, oh here she's coming out to say hi. If I had another tank, so like let's say I go out and I buy three more angels, and let's say I put them all in this 55 with everything. Once they like try to pair up and they start showing their what do you call them, their tubes, will I then be able to just pull them out and put them in their own tank? Or do you think that they would just be aggressive and immediately start killing everything?
Yeah, I don't know about angels. My Oscars, when they bred, and that's how I could tell. Like at first, I just kind of guessed, and I was right. Like the smaller one ended up being the female, and the bigger
Yeah,
one was the male. But Oscars, when they breed, you'll know it because they do this dance. That's what it's called, doing the dance, man. And they go at it, but then you'll see the female go across the surface after they've like kind of cleared out an area or chose a spot, and
yeah,
you'll see her go across the area, and then eggs will drop, and then the male, their hang down thing is rather noticeable because it's like fat and chubby.
yeah.
So, and that's how. But I don't know nothing about angels. I got a pair, but I don't even know if they're
So this,
male and female or male and male or female and female.
yeah, I got you. So this is my what looks like an empty 20-gallon tank. But as I was attempting to show, I have three beautiful koi swordtail that hang out in the back here. I have two females and a male. They're just beautiful fish. If I had to pick a variety of swordtail to be my favorite out of the ones I've seen, I would probably go with koi. A lot of people probably just think that koi are bland because it seems like every fish has its own koi variety now, but something about these swordtails, they're just such a beautiful fish. You can kind of look at
Right.
them in the back there, but
I've been kind of having my eye on swordtails like more recently, but like I said, I've never been about smaller fish. Like, sure, I
yeah,
got a community tank, but it ain't your typical community tank either.
yeah, yeah. This tank here is nothing fancy. I need to take this gravel out and put some different. I've got some gravel similar or the same gravel as what's in my 20 long. I've got more of it outside that I need to put into this tank because I'm not a fan of the bright colored gravel in this tank. But yeah, so I've got those three, and there's actually a couple of bait fry in there. There's two that you can see darting around. And those are ones that just once they had their babies, they just stayed in there, and I never netted out. And they never ate them because usually they'll eat their babies. So I net them out, and then after I net them out, they come over here, and this is my little 10-gallon grow out with a 48-inch light because that was all I had. Usually I don't keep a light on these guys. I only turn the light on if I'm showing them off or whatever, or just trying to do stuff in the tank. But
I mean, they say in the hobby, lights are for our own aesthetic, personal view. Fish
yeah,
ain't got a light underneath the lake.
yeah, yeah. That's this
But
one
if you're
here though. It
also
pretty much
growing
stays off.
plants,
Yeah, and
right?
but you can see there is no light in this one. So yeah, I just usually just do the lights when I need to see them. But I have a mix of
Right.
velvet black and koi swordtail in here. Some of them are tiny little ones. Most of the koi are smaller than the velvets. just because of, I don't know, maybe because that variant has larger fry. But these ones here are about, I want to say they're about a month old now, maybe not quite that. Um, if you can see that little one right there in the middle of the screen by the back glass,
Oh
it's kind of a
yeah.
yellowish tint. Funny story behind that, guy. So yesterday when I was gravel vac in the 55, uh, I was just gravel vacking, watching the poop and everything go up the gravel vac, and I was like, wait, that ain't poop. So I looked in it, and that little guy was up in the gravel vac. So I pinched it off so he could swim out, but he was hiding down in the gravel. So I have no clue how long it's been hiding in there, but he's just got a really weird yellow tint to him. I've never seen one of the velvet wags with a yellow tint like that. Because as you can see, the rest of them are really obviously orange,
Right.
and all these
See,
velvet have put on they've put on their orange collar a lot earlier than some of the fry do. Because some of the fry, it takes them a while to get their collar, obviously, as any fish. But the velvets, they put the collar on really quick. Like they come out as they're born and have orange and black to them.
right. They look good, man. That's what I mean. If I get shrimp before you get started, I help you with shrimp. You got some littles that I might try,
Yeah,
growing
yeah.
myself.
So Tyler Pegg, actually, as he mentioned there in chat, he loves his swordtails. He has the first batch of swordtails that I ever bred. They were they are neon swordtails. There was a group of I think 9 or 10 females, and they looked. Where's the male at? So always think, oh, he's over here. They looked like him, just female. But he has my first batch ever of
Yeah.
adults that I bred. It was kind of hard to let him go. I was like, you realize those are that's the first ones I've ever bred. But yeah, they all
Right.
look just
That
like
tail
him.
on him looks good.
Oh yeah, he's got a beautiful black barred tail. And he's just like I said, he's in such good condition, but he's such an aggressive fish. Nobody picks on him.
Well, there we go. He has to compensate. Look at the grommies he's with.
Yeah, and really, he's
That
bigger than the gourami.
angelfish.
So yeah, the
Yeah.
angelfish is about the only fish that trumps him in size.
Right.
But well, that and my pleco. I have a 7-inch common pleco. He's hanging out back there.
And Aquafunk, I'm definitely gonna have to get with you about that.
But yeah, that's pretty much my fish room tour. Nothing
Right
super
on,
crazy
right
yet.
on.
Eventually, this
Hey,
corner back here, I'm gonna have a 75 gallon, and I'm gonna do probably a few cichlids in it. I don't want to go too crazy with it just being a 75, and
right.
don't want to crowd them. But
But you have
thinking
you
about
have
just doing
quite
African.
the selection you could put in there, and it still look good, and they
Yeah,
be halfway decent sized fish. Like I love cichlids, man. That's my niche. That's what I
yeah,
mean. Like I gotta educate myself on smalls. I'm gonna start a grow out pond, and quite
yep. I got all the info you need about the small fish. Or I'd say live bears. Live bears is a lot of what I mess with right now. You're cutting out. I can't hear you.
I don't know. You Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? I am very sorry.
Hey, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Wow, man. I don't know. I think it. So, like, how everybody said in that first stream that it was like bad connection, I switched to my Wi Fi on my phone.
Yeah.
And at any rate, I think it just, like, my phone Wi Fi probably just went to crap. So
Oh.
now I am back on the house internet. And I hope it's gonna work. I mean, we've been at it an hour and 48 minutes.
Yep.
So yeah. I mean, as long as I can be heard clear right now, uh, then cool. I'm sorry, I don't know pretty much where you left off. I know you said that was your last tank or whatever.
Yeah, I pretty much set out my last take, and then I got back over here, and everything just went to hell.
All
Well,
right.
originally I was trying to switch it back to my front camera because whenever I switch my camera, it seems like that's when it starts acting up.
Right. So there is only 6 people in. Don't blame them because of it getting all crazy and stuff. We did have 10 people. I just want to say thank you. Take a moment to thank all of you that have showed up to the stream. I appreciate everybody who's popped in, left a comment, hit the like button. And I want to thank you, Jordan, for coming up here and
Oh yeah.
being willing to show your tanks and talk fish
Yep.
with us.
No
That's
problem.
what we do. So
Yep. I enjoyed it.
it
It was a great
was an
time.
honor. We're gonna get all of your links so everybody can get a hold of you or however whatever start following
Yep.
you and stuff. Put that in
Say
the
my
description.
YouTube's already up 1 subscriber.
Funk, hit me up on band, right? Um, Obviously my internet is not playing well with me here, and I just don't want it to cut
Like,
off randomly without getting to say thank you and everything or whatever.
yeah.
So wanted to get that out of the way. I appreciate everybody coming by, the viewers that are gonna watch this after the stream ends. I appreciate you too. I hope you gained something from this. You got to know us better or whatever. Maybe learn something about a fish you didn't know or what have you. That's the goal, man, to grow the hobby and share it out. And I always like to extend the offer to anybody in the chat or anybody that sees this. I will let anybody come up on my panel because who am I? I'm just another guy that enjoys this hobby. So if you're passionate about the hobby the same way that I am, then you qualify to be up on my panel at least. And sure, when I see some bigger people or I have a couple people that I'm trying to reach out to now, and I don't know if it's going to work, so I'm not going to say it until it does. But, I would like to get some bigger names up here for you guys, get them down to our level of questions and stuff like that. They're used to, tons of people or whatever in their streams, and that's not the case. So, at any rate, if you're a Casual Aquatics member, you're more than welcome. If you're not, you're more than welcome. If you're not a member, come check out our groups on Facebook and social media and go check out Jordan's. He's trying to start his thing up, and I'm going to support him whatever way I can with Casual Aquatics. So,
Yep.
I appreciate everybody that came. And Jordan, I don't know if you have anything else to say, buddy. I
Yep.
appreciate you,
I'll
and
just say
we'll have to
thanks
do
to
it again.
everybody for coming and watching. Be sure to go check out our socials for the store, Something Fishy Aquatics. The Instagram is Something Fishy, one word, and then period Aquatics. And then our YouTube channel is just Something Fishy or Something Fishy Aquatics, just spaced out like you would say it or type it. Um, there's not a whole lot going on the YouTube channel. I've got like 2 videos up. They're a few months old. But I am going to start working on doing some more videos. I have some more equipment coming, so I'll do an update on the whole fish room because I've not done that, and since I've had the channel basically, so I'm going to do an overview of everything, and we'll go from there. But yep, I just want to say thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I hope we can do this more often. So I'd love to come back on and do some more
Yeah,
stuff.
man, for sure. Like I said, I try to at least do one Sunday around this time. You know, it can be flexible Sunday. It's my day off. Well, every
Yeah.
other Sunday because now they got us working 7 days a week and then they give us the weekend the following off. But, and then 11 to 3 a.m. If any of y'all that were in this or watch this afterwards, if you're up at that hours Eastern time zone, at any rate, if you're up at that time, I'll do streams then. But at any rate, I'll catch up with you after this stream, Jordan. Thank you, everybody. Aquafunk, hit me up on band, and we'll get you up here. Uh, thank you, everybody, and have a good day. Stay fishy. Hello. She's
I got a
probably
headphone
like,
in, so she can't hear you. But
yeah. All right, man. Have a good night.
yep, you too. I'll talk to you soon, love.
Yep. Bye. See you,
Bye, everybody.
everybody.